We have GitHub Actions building our app archive and uploading it to Apple, and the next hurdle we have to face is doing something about the build number. Hey everyone, welcome to the Quality Coding live stream, live coding, all the mistakes, raw and real, and greetings Mudshark and Grantivist. We got a smaller crowd to start with. That's all right. A few other folks in the house. Say hello if you get a chance. For those who watch elsewhere, hey Haresh. If you're watching this on YouTube and you like what you see, hey, give it a like. Welcome Al. Glad to have all of you. My name is John Reed. I am a technical agile coach, and along those lines, I should start off. Hey, Yvonne. Good to have you. I have an announcement. If you go to industriallogic.com and hey, Dan, and go to community, public workshops, click in there, and there are two good offerings, and they're both good. But the one shoot, this one is amazing. Okay, I got distracted. I'm trying to promote this one, but this one is amazing. Check them both out. See what you like better. But you can guess that I will be facilitating this workshop. See what you think. We are... Hey, El Tigre Loco. Where are we? We are working on an app. Oh, by the way, okay, more folks have shown up. Hey, say hello. Oh, thank you, Grant, for posting that. Maybe I'll wait till a few more people show up, but I want to do a poll about like what app should I actually build, because we haven't actually gotten to the app part. We are working on the walking skeleton of just getting Hello World out to the customer's phone. And it's been a journey, right? And I'm debating which way we want to go with this app. But to the discovery tree, where in green you see completed, here's the legend. For those of you who are new to discovery trees, we have completed and orange in progress, yellow to do, and a few other things. And we are working on project setup, follow the orange. We're working on CD, we're working on automate TestFlight. Make script to import provisioning. You know, we did that. It works because the upload worked, but it failed. And so is this really a script failure? It failed because the build version, the build number, it complained that, if we go to TestFlight, there's already a build 2 up there, and that's probably what we have. In fact, just as an experiment, just to try something here, let's go to the app. Right? Oh, that says build 1. How is build 2 even a thing? I don't know. I don't know. But just to try something here. If if we go to, yeah, that's what it looks like, Dan. Something was managed automatically, which makes sense for most people, right? Most of the time. But what we are trying to do is get this action working. We've got the deploy script, which is currently manual only. And last time it got through all the stuff and failed on a 409 error saying, where is it? The bundle version must be higher than the previously uploaded version. So that's where we are. So rather than trying to solve this automatically, let's do a thing and let's verify it manually. Some folks may think that I, as like a TDD nut, would be trying to automate everything, and I am. I'm trying to automate this. But TDD itself is an embodiment of a principle, the underlying principle. I don't want to go on a long detour here, but I do want to talk about Shu-Ha-Ri for a second. Shu-Ha-Ri. It's a model for stages of learning. And it comes from the term comes from martial arts, where in Shu, you follow the rules. You don't get to have an opinion. Follow the rules. So, for example, with TDD, you don't get to bend the rules at all. You're trying to learn it. You're a beginner, so follow the rules. If you're following somebody's steps, follow exactly what they do. Let what they do come out of your fingers, and so that's Shu. Ha is where you break the rules. You say, well, maybe this, what happens if? And you start to own it yourself. And you start to have a greater sense of, that's probably a good enough summary. You start to own it. You start to break the rules. And then in Ri, you come back to the principles under the rules. It's like follow the rule, break the rule, be the rule, I think is how it's summarized. And so in TDD, it has rules, but there are principles under the rules. Hello. Welcome, Arpopa. Thank you for joining the chat and for boldly saying, hey, yo. Stick around if you like it. We are working on app deployment through GitHub Actions. So there's an underlying principle in TDD. You might say lower than TDD, and you've heard me say this many times, and that is make a small step and verify it. Ideally, you want that step to be automatically verified. But in the journey to get there, there's nothing wrong with manual verification. So let's see what happens if I change this build number to 3, and let's just push that change real quick. Bump build. Right. And pull and push. And it is up. Let's see what happens. Where are we? Over here. let me first confirm that it's up. There it is. Okay. So back in Actions, we'll go to the, I don't care about the build script. It'll take care of itself. That's not what we're working on. I want to run the deploy script manually, and let's see what happens. How long did this take? The last one to fail. Does it not? Oh, right there it says 1 minute. So in a minute, maybe we'll know something. All right, drum roll. How you all doing? Take a drink of coffee. Say hello in the chat. Oh, we got a few more people here. Hello, Merman Dan. You from Boston, late to the stream and the whole Swift UI series. Some catching up to do, but excited to have found it. Glad to have you. And thanks for subscribing too. That's awesome. Yeah, we haven't made it to Swift UI. We are still trying to get yeah, thank you. We are still trying to get our walking skeleton of Hello World from source code out to device without wiring it up. That is, we want it to be like for the customer, for the end user. Oh, did it go? Upload succeeded. Look at that. Woo! So that's exciting. We should be able to see build 3 in progress there. Hey, so that's cool. That's cool. Now, we ran into trouble with that build number, and by bumping it manually, it works. So, So, this says to me that I think I want to tell a slightly different story in the discovery tree. This is working. The upload archive, the script to import provisioning and upload, it's all working. It's the build number that's out of whack. So let's do a little changing around here. Because I want to say that's green. Because if, if we're working on a production system and we want to report progress to our stakeholders of what's going on, we don't want to fool them. We want to be honest, but we can say it's working. It just requires this manual step right now. It's like, great. Next thing we're going to do is automate it. Great. It's just clearer. So, yay. Let's pull some things over. Make room, make room. I'm just going to pull them off to the side here. So automatically, that's so good question. If doing a board physically, do you ever remove cards from the tree? Yes. With a physical board, you're constrained, right, by your space. And I don't have any Post-its with me. Shame. There are some good tricks for how to use Post-its, and but eventually you will run out of space. So what you do is when something is done, you delete it at that level. So what I mean is we would keep this because this is still part of this work in progress, the orange, but all of its children, we could say, okay, it's done. We got the script to import provisioning and upload. So it's not really import provisioning, it's upload. Something like that. So you'd pull them down. Now, great tricks you can do with physical cards. You don't want to be changing color. We're using color here because it's nice in a virtual space. You can mark the ones in progress by turning them diagonally. So basically, instead of looking for the squares, we're going to look for the diamonds. And when they're done, you can take a Sharpie and basically make a big line through it. And that'll very clearly show what's going on. All this is in great blog post. We look for, whoops, Discovery Tree by my friend Steve. So that's that. Thank you. So great question, El Tigre. Hey, Mad Dog, thanks for the first time chat. I see that you've got the answer for your question. Well, planning to try it again, try it next to see how it's different from what we're doing here and what we can reuse. So, So now we are working on automate TestFlight, set build number automatically. And I pulled it over in case there are any children here, but maybe not. Now, the build number thing is interesting because the obvious way to do it is to have a script, and I think TestFlight must do this, that reads this from wherever it was set. Let's see where it was set. Boo. Here's the change. Okay. So there we can see the change. Ooh, it's in two places. So we'd have to have something, I guess, that reads the PBX proj? Ew. There's got to be a way to externalize that. Because I wouldn't want a script reaching in and changing the project file, but you could, right? Maybe probably just by pulling it out into a plist, maybe. Environment variables. Thank you. Once for debug and once for release. Yes, the AGV tool. So I was talking about this with my coworker, other John, Jon, at Industrial Logic, John Fazzaro, who's brilliant. I work with some of the best people. And if you don't already follow them, gosh, check them out. Okay, I'm really bragging about Industrial Logic, but go look at the people. You may know some of them, you may not know some of them. They're awesome. And was looking at the requirements for this project version thing. Because the obvious thing is to read it, increment it, and set it back. AGV tool, I guess, does that for you. But then you'd also have to commit it, right? It would have to become a commit so that whoever, like, if we did a deploy and did a pull, the build number would be different, right? But there is no requirement on the Apple side that it be an monotonically increasing digit, a number. It needs to be something. I forget what it was, but it doesn't have to be that. It doesn't have to be 3, 4, 5, 6. And if we can get away to something, say, related to timestamp, then we could have a unique number that is increasing. It still has to be increasing. That's the thing. But we can make it so that it's an increasing number, and that way we're free from having to muck with automated commits, because I don't know. I just don't want that. I want changes that are made by my coworkers and not by bots. Yes, something like that. Something like that. So, and I got this all working over in my other project, so it's time to cheat. Let's take a look at what we got here. Okay, so here's my cheat. It's taking the date and taking the year, dot, month, date, dot, GitHub run number. That must be, so not seconds. It could be seconds. Yeah. But I also want it to be, another important thing about it is it needs to be human friendly for communication, so that you can say, hey, on build number, and you don't want to be like some random string like a SHA-1. You don't want people to have to say it because that's like speaking in passwords to each other. You want to be able to communicate very clearly and easily and build this and such and have it make sense. So let me just show you what this is. Yeah, I think that's why the run number is here, but let's pull up a. Okay, so here is the output, and it's a string apparently. You see that because it's got 2 periods in there, one here and one here. Like if, let me just pretend and say GitHub run number. Oh, how do you set variables in Fish? I'm just going to go to Bash for a second. How do you set things in Bash? Oh my gosh. It's been so long. Help, you Bash folks. Export. Thank you. Is it like that? Okay. Okay. So now let's see what this gives us. So there you see it. It's 2024, February 4th, right? So it's easy to understand. And then it has some other number so that we can have multiple builds on a single day, and it'll be much clearer. So that's the goal. That's my goal. Let's bring this over. What did I call this? Set build number. That's a good one. I guess so. Let's see. PB paste into set build number. And mark it as executable. Okay. Let me just commit this, even though nothing's calling it yet. Add script to set build number. What calls this? It must happen in the oops, come back. It must happen out here in the deploy script. So we can import provisioning before the build. Let's try it. Run. All right. Anything weird going on? This. Let's try it. And set build number before building archive. Drum roll. Let's confirm that we have it. Let's go to the deploy. So good to see green here. Do you want to keep the build number in the PBX proj as well, or do you not care about that value? I don't care about it. I suppose the only reason to care about it would be to be able to easily identify what we are building. And maybe the deploy script should echo the current SHA. That's interesting, Al. I think it might be good to have echo in the deploy script. This is what we are building. We are building C750C91, or even longer. That way there would be it would point very clearly. Let's put this in. I think this is worth it. echo log sha. Something like that. You'll an interesting thing about these cards is they only have to be good enough for communication. Sometimes that means that because of the nature of communication, somebody jots down an idea on a card and it's not clear what it means. And that's why it's good to go back and say, and revise the story we are telling about how this is going. But it also means you don't aim for perfection. Unlike, some great spec where everything has to be crystal clear. It's like most of that is waste. Most of that is a waste of time and a waste of people's energy and waste of the company's money. All we need is just enough. Let's have a look at what's going on. Oops. Some problem. Damn it. What happened? Set build number. Okay, there, at least it set it. This must be the output from AGV tool. Nice. Yeah, shouldn't need to go digging in, making calls to Git. So I cannot find. See, what is this? Did it work? I'm worried about this. Updating CF bundle in info plist. Cannot find Git inbox code proj. And what happened here? This is unexpected. It looks, did it fail? Let's look at the one above. Scrolling down, trying to get to the source of the problem, and there's a lot to get through. Okay, archive succeeded, export succeeded. So I don't know what went wrong. Let's look a little more closely at this. Seems like the upload says something about missing auth credentials. File must specify a file. You must specify auth credentials, username, password. Why are we getting this now? I want to take a look at my other project and see what I have here. I am setting the build number before importing provisioning. I don't know if that would make a difference. I don't see how. Eh, eh. Except that, is there something in the build process? Because here it's calling Xcode build. Import provisioning. It's setting up all the keychain stuff, and I don't see how it would. But I'm being paranoid. Ow. There was something here. There was something here. Wasn't there, Al? I didn't think it was a pipe character. I thought it was Sublime Text showing me, hey, you've got extra characters on here. And I bet, shit. Hey, Michaela, good to have you. I bet you are right. If we look at the diffs, it's like, what changed? What exactly changed? Yes. It looks like this is a way to make it so that you can have a long multi-line run thing. So good eye. And this is why pair programming is so essential. And in a team, in an ensemble, like if somebody had just come in here and done that, I think somebody in the team would say, oh, hey, what'd you do that for? What's that? Don't change that. We don't know what it is. So if you have not had the chance to work to do ensemble coding, pull together a group of friends. But you need you have to have a trainer for it to be most effective. Call me. It is so effective. It is so effective. So yes, bing, bing, bing. I think this is the culprit here. Let's try it. Was mistakenly removed. And it's not really a pipe, so I'm just going to say use the pipe character. And let's try it again. There are reasons working on with more than two is better than pairing. Pairing gets exhausting. It is, because with pairing, you're always on 100%. Either now, some of you may disagree and say, "Oh no, when I've been seen pair programming or done it, like the person at the keyboard is just like typing away, and I'm just sitting there going, huh, that's not pair programming." Strong style pairing. In strong style, let's see if there's an image for this. Here we go. Oh, boo. Oh, okay, it goes away. Where is it? Okay. Here's how pairing often works. I have an idea. Give me the keyboard. Pass the keyboard over here. In strong style, it's I have an idea. Please take the keyboard. That in strong style pairing, for an idea to get into code, it has to come out of one person's mouth and a different person's fingers. And that way you're in sync. That's when the team really comes together. But it's tiring. It's tiring. And so with 3 or more people, it's much more fluid. It's loose. It's like the difference, I like to say, I forget where I first heard this. It's like the difference in social pressure between going on a date versus hanging out at a party. For some people, going to a party might cause some social anxiety, but you know what I mean, with friends, where you don't have to say anything unless you have an idea. Okay, well, I got distracted. We were adding back the pipe. We don't have it firing off. Let's deploy. Let's deploy. And Michaela, I think you were asking about incrementing the build number. And the curious thing we are trying is not to increment it. I'll show you. Because if we're incrementing, then it needs to check back into the repo. But if here we are, set build number to, look at this. A number that's small enough to fit. I had to experiment with this because I think I was trying seconds, year, month, day, and seconds, or something else. Or I know. I think I also wanted a dot between month and day, and it got to be too long. Something like that. So I had to shorten it. But this is year, month, day, and a GitHub build number. And it looks like it worked. Oh my God. Yeah, commit hash would be great, wouldn't it? So Ermagerd. Let's see what's going on here. Nothing yet. Maybe too soon. All looks green. Maybe it was too soon. Let me refresh over here and let's see if we have another one. There we go. It's kind of there. I make it bigger. There, you can see it. So there's the warning sign about how we haven't answered the question about what if we're using any custom encryption, so that we're not spies or seeking to avoid spies. But there, it's working. So I'm going to count that as a win. Ooh. That's exciting. I would like to log the commit hash. I think that would be useful information. Oh, thank you, El Tigre. This is a great idea. While we have enough people here, I don't have a poll thing set up, but let me quickly explain for everyone here. So all this time, this whole thing started as TDD in a Swift UI world, which is the ultimate goal of my project, is to learn and show, like, well, not just show, learn how to work with stuff using the practices I know and love. And to do that, I started making an app, but there's nothing in the app. You want to see it? I'll run it for you. It'll look pretty familiar if you've done any Swift UI. There it is, Hello World. We're just trying to get Hello World from source onto the customer's phone right now. So we haven't actually started the app. And I was working with somebody a couple weeks ago, and we haven't talked about going public with this, so I won't mention his name yet. I'm going to meet with him again after this stream. And he is a Swift UI expert. Like, way, I'm a baby. He is a Swift UI expert, but he had questions about testing and TDD. So we combined our powers and we started working on something, because I got confused about what he was confused about. So he showed me how he works, which was probably closer to how most people work with Swift UI. And that is to just start coding up the interface, even if it does nothing at first, to make it look good. At least make it look reasonable. And I was like, wow. Like, I don't think I would start at the interface normally. But it would seems a lot of people probably would. So that got me thinking, is Git inbox the correct thing? Especially as I started to work for a class on a game of Mastermind. That's a puzzle game with rows and columns. So my question, right? Grant, I start with the data. Like that's what I'm used to, but I think a lot of folks don't. The idea behind the Git Out app was to access the GitHub API and get any like notifications and messages, and be able to read them, maybe be able to respond to them. I'm not sure exactly. And it's the I'm not sure, it's the draw the rest of the owl part that I'm a little nervous about, because I really don't know. So the fun of this project would be exploring from an API first perspective what it would be. The fun of doing a game like Mastermind is that it would be a UI thing. That's interesting. So there's no reason we can't shift gears, or we can park even and come back to this project, because I think there would be interesting things about it. So what I would like, and I don't have a sophisticated polling mechanism here, is so this is API, probably API first, because I don't know what I'm doing. I don't even know what data I'm dealing with. So how can I mock it up? Or to Mastermind, which would be UI first. Can you just put 1 or 2 in the chat, and then I'll tally it afterwards? Go ahead, go. Whatever, what you would prefer. And whatever you do, I'll probably get to the other one eventually, right? So even if we continue down the road of 1, I'll do 2 also. It's just a question of order. So API first or UI first? And to be fair, in a normal corporate environment, uh, even an API first thing would probably have some mock-ups around UI, and I don't. It's just like, it's more like we're dealing not with a corporate situation, but a custom, like I'm talking to a client, a user saying, I'm trying to solve your problem and we don't know the answer and we'd have to explore it together. Yeah. So we'll see. It could also, yeah. Uh, I don't know. I don't know. I'm kind of me. Well, I won't bias the vote. But I was struck at how much at how in a Swift UI world in particular, maybe more so than in a UI kit app, people would tend to start from the UI first and work back to the model. So thanks for your votes. If you haven't voted, one, if you want an sort of a model driven thing, two, if you want a UI driven thing. That's the thing that gets me, Altigria, is um, I'm I've done other stuff. I've done networking. I've never done the particular auth that GitHub uses, auth 0, auth n. Um, so that would take some exploring, and it would be API fiddly stuff. And I am kind of eager to get to the Swift UI stuff. I mean, that's sort of the selling point of this whole project. Yeah. So thank you for your input. This may not be a fair vote because I really want to show this. I want to show TDD in a Swift UI world. I want to learn it and explore it. So I'm going to put down my vote. We'll see. We'll see. What do we got? Wow. Thank you for calling for that. This is also part of why working as a team, working as a group is more fun. By the way, in an ensemble, we'd be rotating often. By often, I prefer to rotate every, when working in person, 3 minutes. When working remotely, 4 minutes, just to allow a little bit of time. Although there's a great tool to make remote handoff super easy. But we'd be changing who's at the keyboard every 4 minutes, and the person at the keyboard doesn't get to choose the direction, right? That's for the other people to decide. The person at the keyboard has the easiest job, and that's just tell me what to do, tell me what to type. Some people call it driver. Some people want to be very clear that no, you don't get to have, when you're in that role, you are the typist. And so they say typist. Anyway, let's see if we can do this real quick. Got a few minutes. There's probably a way to get the commit hash directly without probing Git itself. Yeah, that's my understanding too, Mad Dog. Except that we may have multiple models. Hey, thanks for coming by. This was fun. we are kind of out of time. Let's come back to this. I'm going to leave it in orange. Kind of like a failing test. Pro tip: if you're doing any TDD and you're done for the day, add one more step to make a test fail wherever it is that you plan to continue next. And that way, when you come back the next day or on Monday and you fire it up, and the first thing you do is you run the tests, and it will fail right at the spot that you need to continue. So along those lines, I'm going to leave this as in progress, even though it's not really in progress yet, just to make it easier for us to track down. And it's probably not going to have any children. There are a few more things I think we need to change in the plist. There's this about the encryption that is so that we don't get this popping up. We don't want to have to come in here manually and have to go through and do, well, we'll come back to that, right? And there is, we want the deploy to fire, but only on a successful build. All right, so let's call it good enough. Thanks for coming, and think about. I'll go over the logs and see what you said, how you voted, but I'm starting to convince myself that I want to get to the Swift UI for early, not later, and that dealing with API stuff is not that different, although there are changes in modern Swift. So thanks for coming. If you've watched this on YouTube and you've come this far, you know what to do. Hit the buttons to say that you want more of this. Thank you so much, everybody. Thanks for coming, Michaela, and everyone. Have a great week. And wait, is next? No, the Super Bowl will be in the afternoon. We'll still be good. I didn't want to muck with people being pulled to the Super Bowl. New book website? You mean new website for my old book? Yeah, iOS unittestingbyexample.com. That is, I kind of late to the game for me to get a domain name and create a page for my book, but I finally did, a custom page. So check it out and have a great week. I will see you next week. Take care.